Percival Proctor was a military aircraft designed for airborne communications during the Second World War. RAF Proctor NP336 was shipped to Australia in 1945 to fill the role of the Governor-General's personal aircraft and was operated on his behalf by the Royal Australian Air Force Communications Flight. The aircraft was disposed of by the RAAF into civilian service in 1953. On the 23rd of May 1958, on a flight from Moorabbin to Albury, the aircraft crashed just outside of Chiltern in Victoria. This is the story of my mission to find the wreckage.
Paddling jacks, driving on the tracks, and so much more. Come along with all things outdoors.
G'day folks, welcome back to another episode of All Things Outdoors. Today I am standing on the very aptly named Mount Pilot because tomorrow morning, just on that hillside over there, I'm going to go in search of another aircraft crash site. Now this one is a bit special because it's quite a rare aircraft. It was the only one of its kind to serve with the Royal Australian Air Force in the post-war era, and we're going to go look for the remnants of that aircraft on that hillside tomorrow. Now I've also stashed the caravan just down near the aircraft crash site there because I'm going to be camping in the caravan tonight for a bit of extra comfort. It's quite hot, so I'm hoping to use a kind of cooling device to cool me tonight while I'm in bed, as well as have a nice little shower before I go to bed as well. So without further ado, let's get to it. Well, I've just watched the sunset and I just cannot pull myself away from this view. It is one of the best views that I've seen in my local area because I've never been up to Mount Pilot before, and you've got this beautiful 360-degree panorama from up here. I can see parts of the high country out there, Mount Buffalo. I can see right around to back near home where I've come from today, all the way around out here to the flat country way off in the distance, and it's flat for 10,000 kilometres in that direction. So beautiful view up here at Mount Pilot. Right, I'd love to stay and play here all day, watch the sunset a bit more, but I think it's time to get back to the campsite, get everything set up. Plus I don't fancy walking down this steep slope in the dark, especially considering my footwear choice. Anyway, let's get to it. Well, welcome to my humble lodgings for tonight. You may have seen this caravan in previous videos. I did a build series on it a couple of years ago where we bought a 1973 Chesney President caravan that was in very original state. Water leaks, the interior had to be completely ripped out and redone. But I thought for something a little bit different tonight that I'd bring it out here and sleep in it out here tonight, just for a bit of extra comfort and something different as well, because I couldn't really find a decent enough campsite. So I'm actually here at the end of the road that heads into the Mount Pilot National Park on a bit of a sort of a turnaround pad, I guess, just off to the side a little bit. It's not the greatest of campsites, but I mean, I'm only just coming in here for overnight, head up and do our business in the morning, and then we'll get out of here. So the reason I'm camping here is because just up the road here, probably about a kilometre or two, is the crash site of a Percival Proctor. Now, this aircraft crashed on the 23rd of May 1958, and it was a civilian-owned aircraft. But the reason that the aircraft wound up in Australia is it was out here as part of the Governor-General's flight in the Royal Australian Air Force. It was ordered in 1945, brought out to Australia on a boat, put together, and it was used as a dignitary, or a VIP transport aircraft to fly dignitaries, prime ministers, governor generals, what have you, around Australia to do whatever they need to do. Now, the Percival Proctor is originally it was built as an RAF or Royal Air Force spec communications aircraft. The Royal Australian Air Force decided to purchase one to be part of its Governor General's flight. Now, the reason why it's very rare is that it is the only aircraft of its type that was in service with the Royal Australian Air Force. So it was serial number A75-1, and there was only one of it. Although when it did crash here, it was in civilian ownership. So it's about 9:45 now. It's getting on a bit late. It's a bit warm tonight. I've bought a battery-powered fan. Now I'm also going to try out a cooling device that I've had for a number of years now that I've never actually tried out before, and it is a battery-powered evaporative air conditioner. I've also brought with myself a solar shower, so I'm actually going to have a shower before I go to bed so that I get into bed all nice and clean, because I'm actually quite sweaty now from just hiking up Mount Pilot earlier tonight. So this is the evaporative air conditioner I was talking about. It's by a brand called Katabat. I purchased this a number of years ago for this very reason, to use in a tent or a caravan on these warm summer nights. And it works on the basic principle of evaporating water down a curtain that has air drawn through it to actually cool the air that comes out. So this one has a tank in it. You pour water in the top and it fills up the tank at the bottom, and the pump just constantly pumps water through the little curtain there as the fan is drawing air through it. The best way to do it is to add chilled water. Obviously it helps to cool the water even more, but and I've got some in the fridge keeping cool there, so I'll put some of that and we'll actually try it to see if it pumps out some nice cool air. But as a backup, I've also got my Ryobi battery powered fan over there as well to draw some cooler air in from outside. Now unfortunately it's a little bit dark to show you the outside of the caravan, so I'll show you that in the morning, but we are actually thinking about selling this caravan, so if anyone out there is interested, drop me a line in the comments below. The reason being is that we're a 4-person family now. We've outgrown the caravan, so it's a double bed and a single over there, so hit me up. Oh, I just had the most beautiful camp shower out there. The water temperature was absolutely perfect and I feel like a new man now. So what I'm going to do now is get the evaporative air conditioner set up. So I've got my chilled bottle of water here. What I've got to do is take the tank out from underneath, fill it up with water, and then we can get it going. Okay, so here it is on the flat surface. You probably can't see, but there's a little level indicator there that shows you how much water's left. So all it is a matter of setting your fan speed and then turning the cooler on. So what that does, turning this part on, is it starts circulating the water through the evaporative cooler, and you can change your fan speed there. We might just leave it on low, see how it goes. That's not too bad. It's actually quite nice there. Oh yes, it's nice and cold now. Beautiful. Alright, well, I've done everything I wanted to achieve tonight. I've had a shower, I've set up the air conditioner. It is noticeably cooler in here now. I suppose the cool night air is helping that, and everything is open. So it's 10:15, so we might as well get snuggled into bed and get up nice and early and get at the hike up to the crash site. I've also got one other thing that I might see if we can look at in the area, but I'll leave that one up till tomorrow. Anyway, right guys, see you in the morning. Morning folks, about 7 o'clock now. Just made myself a coffee in the Unigear mug that I've grown to enjoy. Love this thing, the titanium mug, and some bananas, bit of potassium, bit of fuel for the hike that I've got this morning. So very shortly I'm going to get everything buttoned up inside there, lock the caravan up, and then I'm going to head up the road here and start hiking into the crash site of the Percival Proctor aircraft. And then, time permitting, I'm going to head up the road to have a look at Woolshed Falls also. So, have a bit of breakfast and then we'll get to it. So the little evaporative air conditioner did really well last night. After a couple of hours I had to turn off, I was getting quite cool, but there's plenty of water left in there. The battery did well. I've got a second 6-volt battery for it, so if it ever runs out in the middle of the night, you can just slap another one in and keep going if you're still too hot. But no, really impressed with it. I thought it would actually make it quite humid in here, but I didn't have any troubles and helped me get to sleep pretty well. So I might bring that again with me when we go in the caravan during summertime. Okay, I've got the caravan all locked up. I'm going to jump in the truck now, head up the road here for about 1 kilometre or so, where I turn off to walk into the bush to go and find the Percival Proctor aircraft that crashed up there. So let's jump in and get going. So I'm just going to get the coordinates off my Garmin Fenix 6S Pro GPS watch so that I know where I'm going when I walk into the bush there, because I don't want to get lost, because I can get a few hundred metres in and then not be able to see back here. So let's find the location. Alright, I've got the location pulled up, so let's head into the bush and go and find it. At noon on the 23rd of May 1958, Percival Proctor VH-BNB took off from Moorabbin in Victoria headed for Albury in New South Wales. On board were pilot Leslie Elliott and his companion Joyce Roberts. The flight appeared to go smoothly till they neared Chiltern, where locals witnessed the aircraft in difficulty before crashing in bushland on nearby Skeleton Hill. Both occupants were killed in the crash. Mechanical failure is believed to be the cause of the crash. It's just yet another aircraft claimed by the rolling hills of the Great Dividing Range. Well, here I am on the location of the wreck of this Percival Proctor aircraft. Just upon initial thoughts of the crash, I can definitely tell that we've got two metal fuel tanks here, which seem to have lasted the test of time over the last 70 odd years. But I can also see other discernible parts, like this part here seems to be the bell crank right at the rear of the aircraft, because you can see that there's two arms for the cables to come back from the rudder pedals right up the front of the aircraft to be able to maneuver that rudder. And it's possibly even configured like that, and this might have helped to steer the tail wheel so they could taxi on the ground. You can also see parts of a chair frame here. We've got lots of inner springs here. Parts of what looks like wheel hubs. Part of the engine structure there, I'd say, metal. Got some ducting here. Potentially exhaust ducting. Some sort of conduit for cable. There's quite a bit of metal here, considering that this aircraft was a metal frame with a fabric skin over it, so I'm quite surprised at how much of the aircraft is actually still here. Now that is definitely an exhaust duct. You can see here the big flange where it connects onto the block of the engine. Got ducting to duct the exhaust away from the engine nacelle there. So this fuel tank is not in nearly as good a condition as the other one is. You can see it was probably blown apart when the aircraft impacted the ground here. But considering it's been laying out here for the better part of 70 years, I'd say it's lasted the test of time fairly well. Well, I'm just going to have a bit of a look around the general area to see if I can find any other parts of the aircraft. It seems to be all concentrated in the one spot, which makes me believe that it struck a tree and basically fell where it hit the tree. It was heading in a northerly direction, so what I might do is concentrate my search in the down course direction of where the crash site is. It's funny, I keep finding what looks like chunks of concrete around here, which is kind of odd because we're out in the middle of the bush and there wouldn't have been any structures here that I know of. But then I found something that might have answered the question for me. Here is a piece of what I can imagine is the engine support structure, and it's got chunks of what looks like that concrete embedded in it. It may even be melted lead or something like that, that burnt in the fire and it's just degraded over time. But my best guess is that if that's what it is, that this is used for ballast in the aircraft to balance it around its centre of gravity so that it flies without requiring trimming. Well, you can see the indentations in this whatever it is, concrete or lead or whatever it is, that it was even formed around some of the metal support structure. So interesting to find that. Yeah, because quite a lot of aircraft use ballast to help trim the aircraft out so that it flies straight and level without much intervention from the pilot. Very interesting. So this crash site is fairly easy to access, so what I'm going to do is leave a link down in the description of the coordinates of where it is. But as always, I ask you to just come and have a look, pick up the parts, have a look at them, but put them back where you found them and be respectful of the final resting place of where these people died. Right, so while I was down at the crash site, I had a look at my map and saw that it was a quick drive to come up to the top of Skeleton Hill here. So we can actually have a look down at this big open cut quarry. Now, apparently it's a disused gravel quarry. So, as you can see, full of water down the bottom there, probably not much use for them anymore. But really interesting vantage point up here. It's a beautiful spot to look out. Not quite as good as Mount Pilot from yesterday, but beautiful nonetheless. Okay, so I'm at my final stop of the adventure, and I've come down to Woolshed Falls because we've had a fair bit of rain lately, so I'm keen to see how much water is actually going over the falls. But first, I want to go on down here and check out a tail race that's still there from mining days. So I've come down here first to check out the water race, which was dug for mining purposes to redirect some of the water that goes over the falls. You can see here there's quite a channel there through the granite rock, which you can imagine, you know, 150 years ago, the amount of effort it would have taken to blast and dig and chip away at that that little water channel back there to redirect the water. Just goes to show the motivation that gold can have for getting things done. All right, let's go and check out the falls proper then, shall we? Thanks for joining me, folks. Remember to check out the channel, drop a like, hit the subscribe button and look out for more adventures from all things outdoors. Thanks guys, see you later.